Good day, this is Timmo Warner, continuing my trek across the state of San Andreas. I will continue from where I left off, and I immediately realize I've forgotten to mark my north marker once again. Next time, I swear, it'll happen before the episode starts. Okay, that's the northernmost point in San Andreas. And off I go. I'm currently just leaving the maze building that we saw last episode. And I shall try out the third-person view from a little further away. It lets you see the entire avatar as he walks. And I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to don't beep at me. I'm just going to head to the right and then turn left to continue my way north. So, at least this is a little bit of an interesting view. Unlike my other episodes, I'm now well into the city. There's more pedestrians. The traffic isn't quite so crazy because it is not along the freeways. I do not lie. I had a little bit of trouble signing in onto a solo session this time because
That's capitalism for you. It's totally acceptable for a money-making venture, but un-American otherwise.
It sure is. What was I saying before he interrupted me? Oh yeah, I had a little bit of trouble signing into a solo session because when I log into the single player mode where I can then come to a solo multiplayer session, it does not recognize me as being connected to the Rockstar servers. However, when I just load the game as usual... What in the world is that? When I just load the game as usual, it logs me into a single player session just fine. The problem is, or into a multiplayer session just fine, the problem is I am in with a lot of other players who will surely kill me on sight. So it took a few tries to get into single player mode and then be able to choose a solo multiplayer session. But eventually it allowed me. As an experiment sometime, if it's that much trouble again, I may just play with the other players. If they kill me, then I'll just proceed back to the point where I died and continue my walk from there. I do not know what building that is with that eye-looking statue in front of it. This appears to be a rather major freeway. Yeah. I've driven by this part of the game many times. It's just kind of strange to see it at such a slow speed. To a question Zeke asked in an earlier episode, what country would I like to visit? And I'm glad I rechecked because I thought the question was, what country would I most like to live in? The only two countries I would like to visit, but I've never been to, are Australia and Japan. Australia, because I very much like visiting foreign countries where everyone speaks English anyways. It's worked in England and most of the European countries in that area. Everyone speaks English, whether you speak their language or not. So it's been fun visiting those countries because there's very little language barrier. Japan, I don't expect to be like that unless it was a very touristy area. I could be wrong, but that's never the impression I got from anything on Japan. But mainly I'd like to visit just because I'm a fan of I'll say quote unquote Japanese culture, that being the Japanese culture that's been brought over to us and filtered and thought acceptable for North American audiences to see. I do like some anime. I'm a fan of a few manga series. I do like to read about Japan. My favorite book probably being Dave Barry Does Japan, which was given to me as a gift by a friend. He was pretty bewildered by just how unlike North American customs Japanese customs actually are. So I'd like to witness that firsthand, and for once just be in a truly foreign country where I'm not familiar with the language, I'm not familiar with the customs, and things will be all new and interesting. At the same time, I want to see all the things that everyone that likes Japan wants to see. I want to see the strange vending machines, all the different foods and candy available there that aren't available here, especially all the different flavors of Kit Kat bars. In North America, we're lucky if we get one. Hey, we're lucky if we get a one alternate flavor Kit Kat bar. But in Japan, there are seasonal bars plus a variety of bar flavors which seem pretty much permanent. And in addition to that, I find when we do get additional flavors of Kit Kat here, they are highly artificial tasting. The few other flavors I've already tasted from Japan have a much nicer, more, I don't know if they're natural, but they're certainly more subtle flavors to them, so they're just more pleasing than any alternate Kit Kat flavors I've had from North America. So the country I would most like to visit next is Japan. And I suppose sometime in the next few years I'll actually get my money saved up and go to Japan. I usually take a trip to the United States in the summer each year, which is a little more affordable from Canada than Japan would be, but have to spoil yourself sometime, so definitely would like to see Japan. Okay, wait for a break in traffic and I'll get going here, not necessarily waiting for the light to change. Okay. Ouvre Gallery. I would really love to see the next Grand Theft Auto, where Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was a very large open world and I really enjoyed it, where 4 was much smaller but much more detailed. I enjoyed that. I'm glad 5 has kept that same level of detail as 4 and actually increased it, and increased the area of the play zone as well, being more of a state, nowhere near as huge as it was in San Andreas, but it's still enjoyable to have such a large area available again. But I would like to see in the next Grand Theft Auto for more buildings to be open. Not necessarily every house, but it'd be great if every public building was open to an extent. So if you saw a art gallery and you went in, there would actually be an art gallery. Same for all shops. And not necessarily anything storyline in there, but they could certainly add some nice touches, and just be great to know that if you see a building, you could most likely walk in. That's the kind of stopping point I think most games are at now, is you can make okay or graffiti, less recession, sure. The problem with most open world games now is the world is open, the buildings not so much, so I'm hoping that is the next leap forward in open world sandbox games like this. I'm sure there are some games where every building is accessible, but this is not one of them. Okay. I'm actually quite a ways through the city now. Should be getting to, certainly not this episode, but maybe next episode I'll reach the outskirts where the houses start and the shops and actual city area start to wind down. I think this area was, excuse me, I think this area was important during the final heist. Or it might have been several blocks over, but I remember these hills and trying to escape down alleyways from the police to get to the getaway vehicle. All these parking lots are open. They're not really buildings inside, though. So you don't undergo any loading screen going inside. Oh, actually, that was a big improvement in Grand Theft Auto 5. Was well, this guy just thinks I'm talking to myself, so he's probably trying to ignore me. Big step up in Grand Theft Auto 5, as so many buildings are enterable without a loading screen, which is great. That used to be a big problem. Every time you went to an interior area from an exterior, you would get a loading screen. As far as I know, Bethesda games, Skyrim, and Fallout are still like that. You can't go to a truly indoor area without it having to stop and load. I could go see a movie. Actually, I believe there's copyright issues if you watch one of the movies on a video, so maybe not. Could go get a tattoo. Probably also not such a great idea. My character does have our crew tattoo on him, but not anywhere you can see easily. Someday I'll go through some of my alternate clothing here. Not really any movies I would like to see anyways, except for sequel 2. They should have called it sequel 2 the sequel if they did not. Ooh, oh, I thought you could sneak under there and get into a hidden building, but no luck. I can't really make out any of these famous Los Santos names from this distance. Not all that interested in zooming in on it. Oh, look at that. So, I've pretty much reached the end of the city proper. From here, I need to make a decision if I'm going to try and trek straight over land or follow roads as I make my way to the other end of the state. Yes, sir, I am talking to myself as I go along. I have a Bluetooth headpiece that you cannot see, and I'm listening to the left, and I'm secretly recording video for my YouTube audience. So nothing to worry about. I'm not crazy. Okay, I've got about a minute left. Let's just get across the road here. And as I go up that road, I'll have pretty much left the city proper. And it looks like the end of the sidewalk as well. And if I head straight over land, I'm going to hit a few problems wherein you can't necessarily make it up all these hills only walking and jumping without running as well. So, let's see. Well, that's for next episode to decide. For now, let's just swing around. And I'll say, this is Timmo Warner, trekking my way across San Andreas. I've now pretty much made it out of Los Santos. Whoops, sorry, sir. I've pretty much made my way out of Los Santos proper. If you're enjoying the series, please leave me a like. And if you wish, please leave me some questions or a topic that I can either answer or discuss as I travel, because it's a pretty boring trip when it's just me and the scenery sometimes. So, until next time, this is Timmo Warner saying good day.